My husband is upset I donated my wedding dress. How to tell him I don't want to be reminded of our wedding. A few months ago, I found out my husband got cold feet at our wedding. We have been married for 9 years, dating for 12, and I thought they were happy years. My FIL drunkenly admitted that my husband had fled the morning of the wedding with the help of his friends. My FL got wind of this and dragged him back and told him to either marry me or tell me he didn't want to, but not to leave me at the altar. He chose to get married. I had no idea about this. My wedding was a very special day. I felt beautiful and extremely happy. I knew my husband was a bit tipsy, but he had reassured me it was just nerves. I felt completely numb. I talked with other members of the family and with my husband. He admitted that he fled because he was afraid of the future and what-ifs. He didn't want to marry me, but he didn't want to embarrass me either. We have a framed picture of me at our wedding before the ceremony. I know now there is no similar picture of my husband because he had left. We also have my wedding dress in the closet. The wedding was one of the few times I felt beautiful. I'm much plainer than his exes, but love made me glow. But now I just see a naive woman. I walk past the wedding picture every day thinking about it. I can't open my closet without seeing the wedding dress in its sealed bag. I tried hiding them, but I kept thinking about it. I didn't want to be reminded. So I threw away the picture. I donated the wedding dress. Some bride will feel absolutely beautiful in it. That gives me happiness. My husband saw that the framed picture was missing. I admitted I threw it out and donated the wedding dress. He completely shut down. How do I reiterate to him I don't want any reminders of the wedding? I hope some bride out there will give the dress a new happiness.
I don't think this is about the dress. This is about the fact you believe your marriage is built on a lie because he fled, and thus everything subsequent is tainted. You two need a neutral third party to help you navigate all of these extremely strong and valid feelings. Marriage counseling/therapy to help you rebuild the trust of the relationship or help you decide if you want to leave the marriage.
It is and it isn't about the dress. I don't want any reminders of my wedding or how stupid and blind I was or how so many people knew. We need therapy.
Well, you're married to him. He is a reminder of that day. That day is a literal representation of your relationship, which I imagine is in shambles right now. That day is a brick in the foundation of the last 9 years of your life. Y'all need therapy. There is no way to navigate this without it. You're right. The wedding is just one part of your story, but if it's painful to look back, it's crucial to find a way forward through therapy.
I think this is bigger than pictures and dresses. I think this is bigger than the wedding. Those are distractions from the bigger issue, your marriage. I think you need to reckon with how this information impacts how you feel about being married to him. But that is too big and scary, so you are focusing on these other things. You had to know that throwing away the picture and donating the dress were likely to hurt him. Maybe that was your goal, maybe not. But it couldn't have been a fact unconsidered. You and your husband need to have a serious talk about your marriage.
I don't know what to think about our marriage. I am grappling with the fact it may be a lie. I just didn't want to be reminded of my wedding. I didn't know he would react like this or that it would matter so much to him. Since it was my dress, I wanted someone else to have a happy day in the gown.
I mean, I don't think he's upset about your dress. He's upset because seeing you get rid of the dress is making it clear to him how much this has shaken you and made you doubt your marriage.
You two should really get couples therapy. Individual, too.
We should.
I feel unwanted and hurt now that I know you left on our wedding day. I do not want to remember that day, and I don't know what to do going forward.
Thank you.
How was your marriage before all this came to light?
It was seemingly happy. I don't know now.
Being upset to learn about the wedding is understandable, but rewriting your memories to fit your current hurt doesn't make sense. Even if you now suspect him of lying to you every day since, that would be a wild amount of time to keep up a happy marriage out of whatever fake reason you suspect.
It was seemingly happy. I don't know now. Not to diminish your pain, however, if your marriage has been a happy one, I don't see how the fact that he got cold feet on the wedding day makes your marriage a lie. You're obviously hurt, and I understand why you feel like you don't want reminders of your wedding. But that was one day in 9 years of marriage. Unless there are red flags here you aren't telling us about, it sounds like he has been a good husband for the past 9 years and is ashamed that he basically had a panic attack on your wedding day, and now he feels like that one mistake has ruined your entire marriage and your happy life. You need marriage counseling urgently, and also probably individual counseling. I can see how throwing away the picture was cathartic for you, but you had to know it would hurt him.
She states he said, "I didn't want to marry you, I just didn't want to embarrass you." IDK if it's a direct quote, but that comment would pull the wind out of my sails for a very long time. Now everything is under scrutiny, 'cause what else was he not interested in? Does he still like me? Did he ever like me? Was he forced to the altar?
Directly. Tell him what you wrote here. You don't want any reminders about your wedding day around. It was one of the best days in your life, so you cherish the photo and the dress. Now, all they remind you of is that he fled and didn't want to marry you. It hurts, so you got rid of them. Or just let him read the post. I am so sorry. It was really cruel and cowardly of him. You both need couples therapy, or at least you need individual therapy to understand what to do with it. It will eat you alive otherwise.
This is way bigger than Reddit.
I don't know where to turn. I'm so ashamed and sad.
You have absolutely nothing to be ashamed of. You were genuinely happy and excited. Your husband should have told you, or your FIL should have kept his darn mouth shut.
I was so happy and excited, and I was proud to display that picture because my dress was beautiful and I felt beautiful. But now every time I think about it, I get so ashamed. Ashamed that I didn't know. Ashamed that I had that picture so prominently displayed. How many people have seen that picture I so proudly displayed and pitied me because I didn't know that he wanted to leave, that he ran away? My FIL, my MIL, my husband's friends, everyone knew but me.
Everything about you on your wedding day was genuine and real. A beautiful bride deserving of every happiness. What your FIL didn't allow was his son to behave like a complete dog. He regarded and respected you well enough to tell his son to do the right thing by turning up and owning his decision. He didn't force him to marry you. Everyone here reading this story thinks poorly of your husband, not you. So the shame belongs to him, not you. It was incredibly distasteful and inconsiderate to tell you about it the way he did. Now, it's your time to decide on where you want to go from here. It's like being back at the altar, but being fully informed.
He completely shut down? What did he expect? Does he not think you would be affected by this? Does he not see how you would think the last 9 years of your life have been lie? Like, did he think you would just be like, OMG funny story and move past it? He has no right to be upset, and honestly, he should be begging and trying to prove himself to you. I would suggest marriage counseling, because this is hard. IDK if I could move past this. And everyone knew except you. And no one said anything all these years. What else has he lied to you about? I'm sorry he did this to you.
So many people knew. No one ever told me. It was this ugly secret. I feel so ashamed of having that picture even there. How many people saw it and pitied me for being so blind and stupid, not knowing my own husband didn't want to marry me?
Hugs. He needs to understand you just found out and he kept it a secret from you for 9 years. Get some couples therapy, and if you two can work this out, a vow renewal with a new dress.
Thank you. We will be getting therapy. I don't want a vow renewal or anything. I don't believe I could bear it.
Personally, I'd leave. I'd also ghost everyone who knew and has known all this time. The humiliation alone would guarantee the end of my relationship with all these people.
I can't face them. I can barely face my husband. I feel so humiliated.
Tell him the truth. He was allowed to have cold feet, and you're allowed to dislike the memory of it. I can't imagine he would tell you otherwise, considering his own behavior.
Yeah, he's allowed to have cold feet, but holy shit, running out on the wedding is next level. The only reason why he didn't completely ghost her at the altar is that his dad told him no. I would have a very, very difficult time accepting the fact that my husband, a grown man, had to be forced to marry me by daddy. Like, not only would that break my heart, it would completely destroy my image of my partner as an adult. And that's really not something I could get past.
His father didn't pressure him to marry OP. She wrote that he was given a choice. Marry her or tell her no, but don't leave her standing there alone. I think what he did was immature and offensive, but hopefully he married her, then stayed married for almost a decade, because he loves her.
But did he stay because he loved her? Or couldn't face having to leave? It seems his friends were able to talk him into leaving. His father forced him to make a choice. Does this guy just go along with whatever the person in front of him says? Does he have any backbone?
Not having a backbone might be the problem, and I wouldn't want to be with someone like that. She-Def needs to have a conversation about their marriage and find out if there's love or if laziness is involved.
I have told him that I didn't want to be reminded of the wedding, and that I hoped a bride would have a happy day in the gown.
Yes, you said that in your post, but did you tell him why?
I didn't want to be reminded of the wedding. That's why I removed them. That's also what I told my husband.
Maybe you should have told him that you didn't want to be reminded of how he almost didn't marry you, because it specifically sounds like that's what upset you, and by telling him the wedding, he won't understand. Are you afraid to tell him his father told you what happened that day?
He knows I know. He knows that his father told me everything and other family have confirmed it. He knows that I don't want to be reminded of my wedding day because he ran away and didn't marry me out of love.
I'm sorry you're going through this. You said his father gave him a choice. So even if he felt pressured, I hope he married you and then stayed for 9 years because he loves you. But as another commenter advised, I think it's time to have a long talk about your marriage.
Tell him what you found out hurt you deeply, and you are doing your best, but seeing that picture every fucking day was like salt in a wound. We do things sometimes when we hurt. On the night my divorce from my ex was finalized, I burned everything she had ever given me and numerous pictures. I threw my wedding ring in a big lake. But those didn't help, and I think that it likely won't with you either, because you already felt insecure. Don't let your trauma consume you because it's an ugly path.
Thank you for watching until the end. I put a lot of effort into each video, and I'd really appreciate it if you could leave a comment about what you liked or didn't like. Your feedback helps me improve. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and stay amazing.